Hello and welcome to Scandal Tracker, the series where we revisit South Africa's political drama month by month, not just to relive the headline, but to look back at how the people involved reacted when the heat was on. Some reactions were shocking, some were defensive, and some were so bizarre you almost didn't know whether to laugh or cry. But together, they tell a story of a political culture that thrives on spin and survival. We're starting with January 2025, a month that gave us scandals, tragedy, political theater, and damage control in full view. If January was a preview to the year, it set the tone for everything that followed. Let's count down the biggest political moments of the month and the reactions that made them so unforgettable. In number 6, we've got the MKParty sex scandal allegations. Back in January, the MKParty, still fresh from its launch, was hit with serious allegations of sexual misconduct involving senior leaders. South Africa reported that insiders claimed the leadership knew about the accusations but didn't act quickly.
Yeah. But if you look at what has been happening, one can wonder as to, is that the reason why I have denied the deputy president an opportunity to advance his interest in me? And the first letter that I received, it was from him. The beginning of August, we met. Before the end of August, already I was receiving a letter that says that I should give reasons why I should not be withdrawn as a party leader.
Well, I think let's start with the genesis of what led to where we're at. MKParty is a leader at the time who was appointed by the national officials and more so also by President Zuma. And she was entrusted with a role of setting up the structures within Mpumalanga and also being the party leader in the legislature. It's unfortunate that at the time when the national officials wanted her to hand over the accounts of the legislature, that she totally refused to hand over the accounts. And the reason for the request to hand over the accounts is that as a party, we're putting in processes in place. We need to centralize all the accounts so as to ensure that we manage this organization professionally as part of professionalizing it. Now, there were certain reports that came through from Mpumalanga that not only on the issue of, the financial misconduct, if we should say, there were also other issues of, her attending meetings, wielding guns, backed by goons in these meetings, and intimidating people. This is also something that we should note, that at one point she was arrested, if people don't know.
And that's where the real story was, the reaction. Instead of a swift, transparent response, there was silence, hesitation, and an obvious discomfort from spokespersons when pressed for answers. You could almost see the calculation. If we ignore it, maybe it will go away. It was a bad look for a party that promised to be a clean break from ANC politics. The hesitation made it feel like we are watching a rerun. The same cautious PR, the same reluctance to deal with insiders decisively. It was hard to watch a new movement slip so easily into the old habits they had criticized. And at number 5, we've got the Deputy Minister Affair allegation. On January 10, South Africa broke the story of a leaked email alleging an inappropriate relationship between Deputy Transport Minister Mkhuleko Hlengwa and a staff member. What made this stand out wasn't just about the allegation, it was the non-reaction. No immediate clear denial, no detailed explanation, just vague public comments that avoided the heart of the matter. It left people feeling like there was something to hide, even if there wasn't. And when leaders don't respond decisively, the story doesn't die, it grows. Watching the whole thing play out felt like watching someone trying to put out a fire by pretending it wasn't there. And at number 4, we've got the illegal mining disaster at Stilfontein. Early in January, rescue teams recovered 78 bodies from an abandoned mine shaft in Stilfontein. As reported by Idea Democracy, Tracker, and others, Most of the victims were believed to be illegal miners.
Very good evening to you. Thank you so much for your time. We know that a note believed to have been sent up by the miners still underground asking for antiretroviral medication has sparked a bit of controversy. What is your position on this request?
Good evening, Mpo, and good evening to the listeners and viewers out there. Look, when we heard this story from the press, because nobody wrote to us and told us anything about ARVs, we just heard it in the air from the press. I phoned my colleague, the Minister of Police, to ask him, is there any order that the Department of Health must supply anybody with any ARVs? Because we are not refusing to supply people with ARVs, but there must be prescription from doctors. And it's then that our health facilities must provide ARVs, not the National Department of Health from head office, because we are office bound, we are not clinicians. And the minister said there's no such an order. The order from court just said the police must not interfere with any operations that at the mine are there to help the people who are underground.
Most of the victims were believed to be illegal miners, some from outside South Africa. The government's reaction, condolences, statements, and promises to look into the issue. But we've had that line for years, and it's always the same pattern. Outrage in the moment, silence a month later. It was hard to witness because the scale of the tragedy deserved more than just sympathy. This is the crisis that had been allowed to fester. And once again, leaders reacted as if it was an unpredictable accident, not the result of years of policy failure. And at number 3, we've got state capture cases stall. In January, Corruption Watch noted that several high-profile prosecutions from the Zondo Commission had stalled, with the NPA citing case complexities and limited resources. The public reaction was frustration, but from the people in charge, it was a combination of technical excuses, optimistic reassurances that progress is being made, the kind of progress you can't see, can't measure, and can't feel. It was disheartening because the Zondo Commission was supposed to be a turning point. Instead, the reaction from the state felt like an admission that justice was going to take years, if it came at all. Watching the promises fade into bureaucratic delay was like watching a balloon slowly deflate. And at number 2, we've got load shedding returns with a vengeance.
Minister Ramokgopa has expressed his disappointment that load shedding has to once again be implemented. He has explained that the utility was forced to burn more diesel this week as reserves were depleted after some of their top power stations experienced breakdowns. In a hastily convened media briefing, the minister explained the series of events that led to this decision.
We had a situation where at the 2 of our best performing power stations really, Matimba and Letabo, where we had a number of units failing at the beginning of the week. So that's the second matrix in that perfect storm, and then the third one was that there were other units that delayed in coming back. So as a result of that, what that meant is that for most of the week we had to rely on our open cycle gas turbines, essentially in layman's words we were burning diesel. Remember, the peaking plants are designed to do exactly that, to help us to be able to stave off the intensification of load shedding or the initiation of load shedding. So what that meant is that we ran those peaking plants and we exhausted, if you like, our reserves.
Despite earlier assurances, Eskom brought back high-stage load sheddings in January. The official reaction? The same familiar script about maintenance backlog and unexpected breakdown. It almost felt rehearsed, like the country was getting the annual reasons why you are sitting in the dark briefing. And the worst part? The calmness of it all, as if severe power cuts are just part of life now. It was hard to witness because it showed how normalized dysfunction has become. The people responsible for fixing the problem no longer seemed embarrassed by it. And at number 1, we've got Parliament's first session fireworks.
Leading our bulletin this hour, the first sitting of the National Assembly is set for Friday and the National Council of Provinces for the following day.
This comes after Parliament cancelled flight and accommodation arrangements for MKParty members after it informed the institution that they will not attend the first sitting.
The point of order.
I just want to inquire whether this member will take a question, sir.
No, Chair, there is no time for question, it's time to debate.
Taking a question.
On the other hand, the benchmarking methodology increased municipality tariffs above cost living, thereby unjustifiably benefiting municipal distributors like the City of Cape Town to generate super revenue from the sales of electricity and at the expense of poor and working class households. A good illustration of this, Honorable Chair, is that the City of Cape Town purchases electricity from Eskom at R1.78 and charges the poor and the working class household R3.44 per kilowatt. A good illustration for the first for the first 600.
All right, thank you. On what rule?
Rule 61B. No delegate may deliberately make a statement which the delegate knows to be false. Yes, I am.
Your point of order is not sustained. Point of debate. Over to you.
The DA notes your bias, Chair.
Honorable Badenhorst, you must never do that again. No, you'll be thrown out. You'll be thrown out. You'll be thrown out.
Point your finger at me.
Over to you, Honorable Dlamini.
Based on this critique, amendments of the Electricity Regulation Act and the Electricity Pricing Policy have been put forth, and in turn, amendments on these pieces of legislation.
There's a point of order.
Thank you, Honorable Chair.
That's on what are you raising?
I rise on a point of order in terms of Rule 61(1)(b). This honourable member made reference, and she said in a speech that the city of Tshwane is controlled by the DA. That is false. And I think the member should know it's false. It is controlled by the ANC.
All right. Thank you, Honourable. Thank you, Honourable Press. Your point of order is not sustained. You have a member who can respond to that. Thank you. Over to you.
Please, bias.
Based on this critique, amendments of the Electricity Regulation Act and the Electricity Pricing Policy have been put forth, and in turn, amendments to these pieces of legislation will serve as a guide to NERSA in the regulation of the electricity market in a manner that be deemed rational, thereby resulting in the predictable and stable electricity tariffs.
So in closing, that was January, a month of scandals, tragedies, and reactions that spoke volumes. Looking back, it was not just the events that defined the month, but how the people in power chose to respond, or in some cases, chose not to. And if you think January's reactions were bad, wait until you see February.